She'd been in pain for 3 days before she even went to a doctor. Lower back, one side, sharp enough that she couldn't sleep on it. And when the scan came back, the doctor asked her one question that had nothing to do with her back at all. How often do you hold it in during long meetings? Turns out that was the actual answer. Okay, let's just say it, almost everyone does this. You're in a meeting, you're driving, you're in the middle of something you don't want to pause, and your bladder's sending signals you just override. Most people think of it as harmless, a little inconvenience, nothing more. And look, sometimes it really is nothing. But sometimes is doing a lot of work in that sentence, and that's what we're actually getting into. Here's the thing, going to the bathroom isn't as simple as bladder's full, go empty it. There's a whole signaling system running in the background. Once your bladder's about half full, nerves fire off a message to your brain, hey, it's time. Your brain sends a message back telling your bladder to hold on until you actually decide it's okay to go. That's a genuinely complex back and forth, and every time you override it, every time you tell your brain not now, you're consciously fighting a system that's designed to work automatically. And honestly, this is one of those habits nobody thinks twice about, which is exactly why it's worth breaking down. Now, if you're picturing that holding it in stretches your bladder like a balloon about to pop, that's not really the main danger, at least not for occasional holding. Your bladder's actually built to stretch quite a bit. It typically holds somewhere around 2 cups before you're even feeling real discomfort. The actual risk isn't about the stretch itself. It's about something a lot quieter. When urine sits in your bladder longer than it should, bacteria that are normally flushed out regularly get extra time to multiply. That's the mechanism behind one of the most common consequences, urinary tract infections. And it's not just a one-off thing that happens if you hold it once. Making a regular habit out of holding it in can genuinely raise your risk over time, especially for people who already deal with bladder sensitivity or urgency issues. In more serious chronic cases, and this is rare but it's real, urine can actually back up toward the kidneys, which can lead to kidney damage or a condition where the kidneys swell from the pressure. That's an extreme end of the spectrum, but it's not made up. It's a documented risk of habitual holding, and it's exactly the kind of case that put our opening story in the hospital. There's also a second, quieter cost that builds over months and years rather than days. Regularly overriding that urge can actually affect the muscles involved, their elasticity, their coordination, which over time has been linked to issues like urinary incontinence, where you start losing some control you used to have. It's not instant, it's not dramatic. It's the kind of thing that creeps in slowly enough that most people never connect it back to a habit they've had for years. And here's what makes this genuinely tricky to talk about. Doing it occasionally, stuck in traffic, mid-flight, can't leave a meeting, that's not the problem. Your body's built to handle the occasional override just fine. The actual danger is when occasionally quietly turns into basically every day, multiple times a day, and you don't even notice the shift happening because none of the early consequences hurt enough to make you stop. This isn't a discipline problem, and it's definitely not something that needs a supplement or a special routine. Doctors generally recommend going about 6 to 8 times a day, roughly every 3 to 4 hours. Not holding until you're desperate, not going the second you feel the tiniest urge, just listening to the signal instead of routinely overriding it. If you're someone who holds it constantly because of a packed schedule, the actual fix is boring but real. Build in the 2 minutes. That's genuinely most of it. 3 days of pain before she even connected it to anything. One question from a doctor, and suddenly a habit she'd had for years, the one she never thought twice about, had a name and a cause. If holding it in has just become automatic for you too, that's worth paying attention to before your body's the one that has to bring it up. This video is based on researched medical information, and it's for educational purposes only. Always talk to a doctor about your own health.